YouTube. I got makeup on. Sorry that I was gone for a little while. Uh-oh. I was having trouble with my phone, but I made a new account. For everyone who follows me or watches my videos. I wanted to talk to you guys today about, relationships and how to, as like a woman, to be healthy in a relationship. The first things that you need to look out for and understand is that it takes two people to have a healthy relationship, right? If one person is really toxic, that relationship is unhealthy. If you're there's two types of people in relationships. There's, healthy people who want to be happy in a relationship and not have too many problems. And then, there's just toxic, narcissist people. Some people, they don't view relationships as peace and tranquility, Some people will view a relationship, and this could be romantic or platonic. Some people view relationships as a way to take advantage of somebody else, or to have control, or they see that person as a tool that they can use for their advantage. I'll tell you about my personal relationships without giving out too many details. I've been married to one person for about 4 years, and the other person, after that divorce, I married again. And I've noticed that with both marriages that I had built a pattern of not being able to really see the red flags because I was really young. So when I saw the red flags, it had already been too late. I was already married, and the process to escape that, it's a long process when you're married sometimes, especially if the other party is not willing to give you a divorce. If both parties are working together and they say, hey, we need to get a divorce, and they do that, that's good. But sometimes you can get a lot of backlash from the other person. And I kind of had that in both situations. Now, not to talk bad about soldiers, but I think that an active duty soldier, when you get married to an active duty soldier, I feel like that the relationship or the marriage is not going to work out, because active duty soldiers, and now this isn't all of them, but they have a mindset of, just getting married for money. And I thought I was getting married because I thought someone cared about me, but they just wanted money. And then when I didn't have money anymore, or I didn't have the access for them to receive the benefit of the financial blessing, I ended up getting hurt real bad. And that's just another thing that I wanted to point out. Then you can live in a place and you'll be minding your own business with a relationship, and then the people of the community can do everything in their power to just destroy your relationship. And if the other person doesn't have enough common sense to come to you and say, hey, these people are talking bad about you, what's really going on here? And people, they will attack the relationship that you have with someone just so that they could feel like they have control over you as a person and over your relationship. And that's how you know when you're getting kidnapped, you know? Like, it may not be someone physically picking you up and putting you in the car and driving off or whatever. But, that's when you know that people don't view you as a human being. They view you as their property. And that's how you know, that's one of the ways that you can know that you're being kidnapped by your surroundings. Is that when whole communities of people can't keep your name out of their mouth, like you did something to them personally. But then when these people sit back and they really look at it and they realize, what did she actually do to me that made me attack her in the first place? And it stuns them. It stuns them. One thing about being an attractive woman and being a good person with morals and values is that that's gonna offend a lot of people. People are going to be offended by someone who has morals and values, and people are going to try to literally kill you if you don't conform to what they think you should be or what they say that you should be. And there's a lot of people not understanding a person. Like, I live in the state of California, right? But I grew up as a child on the Air Force, Offutt Air Force Base and all of that, and military, moving around. So when people see that, they think only with their own hometown mindset, right? So let's say that, I think that every American home should be able to live up to the Constitution and have the right to bear arms for the protection of their home, right? So if someone is constantly trying to break into your house, I feel like that person should be dealt with concerning our constitutional rights to bear arms. However, in the state of California, you can't do that. You can't even own a gun, especially if California puts you into certain categories to where you can't own a firearm to protect yourself. People are going to try to take advantage of that. And so that's just like a couple topics. I know I'm kind of like all over the place, but I haven't uploaded a video in a while. Honestly, I'm just doing these videos for you guys. because I've noticed that people follow me and people flock around me and people just always want my attention. And I'm not really a people person to begin with. I'm kind of more like I'd rather just be in my house away from people. I mean, you know, some people will say what they say about smoking and drinking, but as a follower of Christ. But as a follower of Christ, I smoke cigarettes, and I can't even smoke a cigarette without somebody coming around the corner just trying to get my attention. And it's like people are just so desperate for my attention that it's literally just kind of making me feel sick. Cause it's like, why are you so, I'm not, just leave me alone, basically. And so that makes it to where it's like, when people realize that I don't really want to interact with people, I don't really enjoy talking to people like that, because people, they'll just take what you say and flip it around and use it to attack you. Like, I can't even tell somebody, like, I was in the elevator with somebody and I complimented her and I said, "Hey, your hair looks nice." Do you know she flipped that around and lied and tried to say I was threatening her? I can't even compliment somebody for having nice hair without them trying to attack me. So I rebuke you. My children and I are going to be free from this bondage. We are not slaves. We are not property. And Lord God, I just praise you and thank you for the opportunity for me to have a significant other in the name of Jesus that doesn't listen to lies, gossip, and slander. Because haters are gonna hate, and I need someone who is on like an actual molecular level of understanding that has the amount of intelligence to decipher between right and wrong, and to be able to decipher between people talking shit and trying to destroy something and between me. Because like my last relationship, people are over here talking shit and saying all this bad stuff, and then you got delusional people who want to force their way into my life with their own personal delusions, and then they project their delusions onto me and then tell other people that I'm the one doing that to them. And then because I don't talk to people, I leave people alone, they will stir up the whole community and talk shit and not understand anything. Like, kind of like violating HIPAA laws. Like, I trusted a doctor with my medical care, and the doctor did not understand me at all. She is a Democrat, and I'm neither Republican or Democrat, right? But I think this doctor is like a liberal Democrat. And so she didn't like the stuff that I was saying. So she just labeled me as crazy. Like when I would tell this doctor that the reason why I feel depressed or delirious or anything is because that I'm going through like a domestic violence situation. And then this doctor said that I was delusional, that there is no domestic violence, and that I should be put on medication. And it got to the point where I just had to start showing police reports and restraining orders because depression and anxiety and all that is a real thing. But to say that the reason why I feel like that is because I'm completely delusional and there's no reason for me to feel like that. So let's diagnose me with crazy is insanity. And I like guns, right? I feel like guns are a form of art. I don't like guns in the sense of hurting people. Now, don't get me wrong, a gun is a machine of war. But it's not only just for hurting people, it could be for hunting, it could be for just target practice, it could be for paintball. It could be all kinds of fun stuff that you can do with a firearm. And it's also our constitutional right, like I said earlier. Now, this doctor, because I support the NRA. The NRA is good. This doctor is thinking I'm a psychopath because I like the NRA. The National Rifle Association is doing the right thing. But, again, these are liberal Democrats in California. These people will never understand someone who grew up in the military. And I don't think they even respect or care for the military here in California. Like our friends and our family members are going to war and dying in war for their freedom, and they can't even give us any respect or love or care for when we come off the military post and we come back into civilian lifestyle. People treat us really badly. So there was also another issue. I mean, they've made like really, really, really big issues on my existence. People feel like they think that I should not have survived all the things that they have put me through here in California. And people are mad about my survival. And then, you try to move on and they wouldn't let me have a relationship. They went to the boyfriend and they tell him, that's not a good woman, stay away from that woman's crazy. But again, he didn't have the natural use of common sense to come to me and ask me anything. Nobody has come to me and asked me anything about me. They only listen to what they are told by people who do not even know me. And nobody sees a problem with that. Like, if you really want to know something about somebody, you need to spend time with that person and ask them. Now, I know there's like a lot of liars out in the world, and maybe that's why they won't try to ask me what's going on. But, it's just an organized crime of spiritual attacks. There's some people who see me, they, as soon as they see me, they start doing witchcraft. They get their brujeria and they start doing their brujeria. So it's gotten to the point to where it's like, I'm tired. I can't no more. And, if people see you and they think that you're nothing, right? Or let's say people see you going through something or being abused, and they sit there and they watch the abuse, or they participate in the abuse, or they just watch it and do nothing and enable it. When you come out of that place of abuse and you're able to recollect yourself and you start to heal and try to be a human being again, because there's some abuses that are so degrading to the point where they don't treat you like a human being. They treat you worse than a dog that ate the steak off someone's plate or something. So when people see that, or people do that, or they participate in that, or they enable that, when they're done with you, they throw you in the trash, and you come out of the trash and you clean yourself up and you just try to be a person again. That offends these people. They are offended that, like, an example is, like, I know, like, there's some people who are just ignorant about Dominican or black people. But black people and Dominican people come in different colors of skin, and our hair is like fluffy like a sheep, coily. So the way, like, if I don't have braids, the way I brush my hair, because it is fluffy and coily and it's like a circle, like an afro, I have to brush my hair only while it's wet. So I brush my hair when it's wet, and then I'll put it into like a fluffy ponytail. If someone is abusing somebody who has hair like that, and that person can't do their hair, and their hair gets, stuck together a little bit and matted because they're being abused, and then the abuser looks at that person and says, your hair is all nasty like that, you don't never brush your hair. You know, that's like really, really contradicting, because the abuser is contradicting themselves, because not only are they ignorant, but they're also not allowing you to take care of yourself. You know, and you can get put into a really bad sunken place where you can't be able to take care of yourself. If someone's constantly abusing you or stressing you out, you know, and it's like really bad. And it's okay, you know, I'm here for you, survivors of abuse through marriage and systems. I mean, the system will abuse you too, because the system is built for who they prefer. So are they gonna choose you, or are they gonna choose who they think most best fits the description that they think that should be chosen? And if the system thinks to themselves, oh, this person is nothing, they will abuse you. Like, I ran away from my husband with my children due to domestic violence. And I tried to go to a shelter. And that shelter, they made it look like on the outside that they were helping me, which they did help me, but on the inside, they were abusing their power, and they were abusing me as a person. And you know, I don't want to keep going through that. And then even after moving away from the shelter and moving away from the place that they tried to house me, you know, I tried to get housing assistance somewhere else in a completely different city, and they did the same thing, because the shelter carried on that paperwork that there was a woman, you know. And like, I've noticed that because I'm a good person, because like I believe in God, I'm a child of God, so I was raised correctly. I have to have standards and boundaries, and you know, I don't just want anybody coming into my life. You know, people get one chance with me, and then after that, you're getting cut off. So when I cut people off, they get offended and they want to attack me for it. So I'm praying to God that, you know, hopefully it's just the area that I live in that is why people are weird like this. You know, I won't disclose the city that I'm in right now. I'll probably disclose the city that I'm in later. When I move away from this city, because I don't want my viewers to think that everyone in this whole city is a bad person. And I don't want my viewers to think anything like racist towards this city. But you know, like, people have their own mindsets, especially if like they're raised a different way from American standards, so they'll think with the mindset of how they were raised in their own country, which there's not really anything wrong with that, but people need to understand that this is the United States of America, and the United States of America is open to all people from all different types of countries. Everyone is welcome to be here in this country. But if you can't respect people, then you should not talk bad about them. You should not, if someone is different from you by culturally or something like that, just leave them alone. You don't have to say, okay, so an example of this is when I go in the grocery store, people are talking shit about me in Spanish because they think that since I'm black, I can't understand what they're saying. But I'm a black woman, but I'm also a Dominican woman, so I can understand what you're saying. I can't understand everything, I'm not completely fluent in Spanish, but I understand enough to know that you are literally saying that, and I'm standing right there. And to them, oh, she's just black, so black people don't understand. It's just, that's kind of is that racist, or is that prejudice to just think that because someone is black, you can talk shit about them in Spanish right in front of their face at the grocery store, and you expect them to not react, respond, or say anything? Which I end up not saying anything, and I end up not saying anything, and I end up not doing anything because they assume that I have no idea what they're saying. And that can cause an issue with relationships too, if you live in a place that is predominantly Spanish speaking, which that's another reason why I wanted to live here in this city, is so that I could work on my Spanish. But I didn't think that I would have to work on my Spanish by being ridiculed and talked bad about all the time. So, I just wanted to spread awareness about how, because that's how a relationship becomes toxic. If one partner is invested but the other partner isn't invested, and they're listening to all this stuff, that's all this gossip and drama. And another thing, me personally, another thing is that I had to get a lawyer about my medical documents because they're trying to say really bad stuff about me on my medical documents. So I had to get a lawyer to try to help. But really, I think it's just because they don't want me on YouTube spreading the truth about some things. And, they'll try to do that to try to take someone's freedom away, you know? Because a doctor is someone who can legally kidnap you and hold you against your will and say that this person is a danger to themselves and to society, so they should not be able to X, Y, and Z. Now, if you are in like a corrupt system where people can see that you have value, but they don't want other people to see that you have value, and they want to shut you up, and there's a corrupt system around, people can literally pay a doctor to create false documents on someone so that they can put that person in a place where they will never be seen again. But by the grace of God only, because I give God all the credit for my survival, it is because of God that I am able to be here to this day with, happy. My children are happy. It's because of God that I'm still here. And I thank the Lord. I praise God every day. And I thank the Lord every day. But, my prayer now is that this battle of the relationship will come to an end, that all these Penina, all this naysayers, and all these people that are literally blocking good people from coming into my life because of X, Y, and Z or whatever's going on, my prayer is that it comes to an end. And, with that prayer, I know that when you cast out a demon, 7 more wicked will come with it. So I rebuke 7 more wicked spirits coming with that demon in Jesus Christ's name. My prayer is that me and my children can move to a city that will be a lot safer, that will be a lot nicer, and that will be a lot more accepting, and that there will be good people there. Okay, so I just thank you guys, for my followers and subscribers and everyone who's just been supporting me through this journey of my walk with God. You're part of my testimony, so I really appreciate you. And I started wearing makeup. I know I'm wearing a robe, but I started wearing makeup so that I would get bullied a lot less. I've noticed that police officers have been kind of bullying me, and people kind of just look at me like I'm the dirt on the ground because I have face tattoos. But in the city that I live in, people when they have face tattoos here, I think it doesn't mean that they're tribal or a believer of Christ or an artist, because I'm an artist, and your body is your canvas, and what's the first place people look? People look at your face, right? So they don't like my artwork. They don't like that I did artwork on my face. And people, when they see my face tattoos, they attack me for no reason. I get attacked for no reason, just because I chose to be an artist. And I feel really bad for all the people who have face tattoos because they're from prison or because they're a gang member or something. I feel bad for them because I know how people treat me, and I'm not that. So, just imagine you're someone. Okay, so I've never been to jail or anything like that. But, I know how to have compassion for others. And I know how to see people as human beings. I don't judge anyone by the way they look or by what they've done in the past. So let's say somebody did something bad and they have to go to jail. In jail, they're learning their lesson, and then they have to come out of jail. Imagine you come out and people are treating you like you should be back in there. That's a moment of silence for human nature. Okay, that's wicked and evil. An example of how that's wicked and evil is like, let's say the child took a cookie from the cookie jar and you put that child in timeout for like 2 minutes. They have to sit in the chair facing the wall. And then when the child comes out of timeout, you never forgive them and you treat them like they deserve to be in timeout for the rest of their life because they have chocolate and cookie crumbs on their mouth. Maybe you can help that child wipe his mouth instead of judging him. That might help. Or you could accept someone as an artist. You know, I have met people with tattoos on their face who haven't been to jail and who aren't gang members or cult members. I've met some normal people with tattoos on their face, completely normal. Like, I know this one guy, he has his wife's name tattooed right here. And they're still married. You know? I've seen this one girl, she has a mococo eye like me. She has the chin tattoo, but I've seen her, she had like all this done. Like all this right here. And it was beautiful artwork. But people, they just want to associate you with something. And then, you know, you have to take into account of what people try to force you to be associated with. Because they're a bad person. They will, like, some people will try to force you into doing something that has nothing to do with you at all. Because they're bad. And then they try to tell everybody else. Bruh, hell no. So at the end of the day, I really do just want to be left alone. You know? I think that after some time, I'll be able to open up my heart again to another boyfriend. But right now, I'm really heartbroken. I'm not heartbroken over the fact that my relationship ended and that I'm being prevented from having another relationship because I'm being bullied so bad by fellow adults. But I'm more heartbroken over the fact, like I said earlier, I'm heartbroken over the fact that this person did not have the common sense to come to me and talk to me about the allegations that were said against me. To this day, I don't know what they said to him. I know some things, like I know that someone was violating HIPAA laws about how I'm trying to get a lawyer to help me fix my diagnosis and everything. So I do know that someone violated HIPAA laws and was going around and saying that. But I don't know what else they said, because a violation of HIPAA law shouldn't be something that makes someone run away from you like that. So I do not know the allegations that were said against me. I'm not sure of everyone who is involved. I know some people are involved, but I don't know everybody. And And I just been reaching out to organizations to help me move out of here. Not sure what's going on in this city, but I don't think I'll be able to have I just don't feel like my life will be able to flourish here. Because, you know, it's just crazy to me when somebody, this video is getting long, so I'm gonna have to cut it short, and I'm kind of busy, you know, I'm focusing on trying to do my laundry. But, you know, it's just like, if you care about, like, that's how I feel. Like, I feel like, you know, no one, like, I feel like, I can't say no one, but I feel like he just never cared. Because if you care about somebody and people are talking shit or doing crazy stuff to that person, you should really talk to your significant other and ask them, what is going on? Why are these people doing this? Why are these people saying this? And what's happening? And sometimes you need to call the cops on people who are going too far. You know, if someone is like let's say that you're in a relationship with somebody, and then like a whole bunch of weirdos go up to your significant other and say bad things about the other person. They'll say, oh, that's not a good woman and all that. You should probably call the cops on them. You should call the cops. Or, you know, you can take them, like, you can get their information, like their name and phone number, and you can take them to court for defamation of character. You can take these people to court. Like, there's a couple things that you can do, you know, to defend your significant other. But if you just, like, abandon your significant other while they're going through that, that means you never cared about that person. That means that you're just using that person for whatever personal gain that you wanted from them. Okay, you guys have a good night, okay? I'll make more videos about, like, relationships and wisdom and all that, because, yeah, people really just want my attention, so here it is online. Okay, love you, bye.